Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I am working on a layout that is inspired by this beautiful layout from Paige Taylor Evans. This is just a screenshot from her Instagram page, and I really love how she had all those layers within each of her letters. So I actually started out with a piece of her paper as the background, and that is from her Turn the Page collection, so it's a few collections ago. And then I used this white paper cut with my digital die cutter to cut the words out that say scrap away. Now I didn't get the mixed media portion of this on film. At that point I didn't really plan on filming actually any of the layout, and it was really late at night when I did the mixed media. So I apologize for that, but I did use some Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels and a little bit of Heidi Swapp Color Shine to get the rainbow effect on these letters. So I went with a clockwise fashion. So I started with pink with the S and went around the clock as a rainbow. So that is why the A is blue and not green, because I didn't go in the order of the actual words. I went in clockwise fashion, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So I've pulled out tons of little bits and pieces from my boxes that I have my embellishments sorted into. They're pretty much mostly sorted by color, with the exception of particular kits that I want to keep together that are specifically for, you know, a project here and there. So anything else goes into my color bins, and so I've gone through and I've pulled out all kinds of stuff, and most of that stuff is not going to make it onto this layout, but I wanted to have a lot of options. And I'm not going to have as many layers within my letters as she has. I think my letters might be a little bit smaller, and that's okay. I know they're definitely more narrow, and that's okay. I don't need as many layers as she did, but I was really just inspired by the effect of having all of those little bits and pieces on top of each letter. And plus, I have mixed media on mine. I don't think she had mixed media on hers, and so I wanted to leave some of that visible. What I found was it was really much easier to start with a floral element. So most of these letters have a floral element to begin with, and then I've built up from there. And I have two different pieces of foam. There's a piece by my left hand there, and it's pretty thin, but it's still got some dimensional properties to it. So I'm going to be using that for all of the pieces within the letters. And then when I take the white piece that's going to go over the top of everything, that will be with Fun Foam, which is a little bit thicker than this white foam that I'm using. And so that will give the things within the letters some dimension, but not, they will still be recessed into the framework of the letters once I put that white piece over. And you'll see that more towards the end and in the close-ups. So I started with the florals, and then I really like the idea of having a lot of hearts in there, and some of them have some words. This is an annual event that I go to. It's a 5-day retreat for scrapbooking that one of my friends puts on. There's about 24 of us that stay in a lodge, and we pretty much stay there the whole time. We have a private chef that we bring in, and we just, oh my gosh, we just have such a blast. And it really looks like a scrapbooking store just exploded. It's kind of a neat place because all of the scrapbooking area is on the main level where the kitchen is, and then when you go upstairs, all of the rooms are on the outer perimeter of the building. So you can look down from the balcony into the main room, and it's so much fun. It's just, we have such a blast. I can't even put it into words how much fun it is. But you know, you can stay in your pajamas the whole time. You can go hike if you want. It's in the redwoods, so it is a beautiful place to go hike if you want to. I pretty much don't go hike. I focus almost all my time on scrapbooking and visiting with friends and just hanging out and having a good time. There's good food, and Though there is one requirement of the place that we rent from. It is an educational facility, so we do have somebody who comes in and talks on one of the days. She's there for maybe like 30 minutes, and we've had some really good instructors. We've had one that had talked about art journaling or nature journaling. We've had people come in and talk about the different plants and flora and fauna in the area, and how you can use those in your art. All kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, we have a lot of fun, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing about that now, so I'll get back to the layout. So I am now working on my orange piece here. I've got some florals that are being pulled out of the Jen Hadfield collection. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to remember the name of it, but it's one of her older collections. It's maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 collections ago. But it's got these orange flowers in it, and they're mixed in with blue. So I'm just cutting them apart and putting them into this letter A. And then I think the only one that I don't have a larger floral in is the first A in a way. I didn't have anything in that color, so I used a heart that has some gold foiling on it, and it's a little bit larger, and I put that in there. So I just love how these layers get built up. I have sped this video up quite a bit. I apologize if I'm making you sick by moving so fast. The video was really long otherwise, so I apologize if it's too fast for you. You might be able to adjust your playback speed. I know you can adjust it to be faster. I'm not sure if you can adjust it to be slower. I've never actually tried that. I think you can. So hopefully if you do that, it doesn't adjust my voice and make me sound too crazy. But you can adjust your playback speed by hitting the 3 little buttons in the upper right hand corner of your YouTube video. And if I'm talking too slow, you can speed me up as well. Maybe I'm not fast enough for you. So anyway, back to the layout. I am just going to continue building up these layers. Once I get these layers all put in here, I'm going to take the entire white sheet of paper that has the cutout scrap away, and I'm going to back it with the fun foam like I had mentioned before. And I have a lot of fun foam that I've pulled for a different project. So you'll see that it has like letters cut out of it, and I just continue using it up because there's no reason to waste it and throw it away. All those little tiny pieces work out perfectly, and it takes me a while to back it. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing. I think I just put the first piece down, and then it's going to show you the end result. And then I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere it down, and I'm going to use the liquid glue out of my fine line applicator. Right now I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive you see on the right hand side. It's a wonderful glue, works great. I don't have any problems with it, and it dries clear, and so I really love that. But I will end up using the glue in my fine line applicator, which is crystal lacquer, and it's a lot like Glossy Accents. And the reason I'm using that is because it dries a little bit faster, and I know it's going to hold. I know the Deluxe adhesive by Tonic holds as well, but this one just dries a little faster, and I didn't want to sit there holding the foam down quite as long as it might have taken to use the Deluxe adhesive. And plus I knew I could get my fine line applicator, underneath if I needed to, if I missed any spots or anything like that. So I think I have a little piece in there that says Just Us Girls on the C, and then I have a piece that says Friends, and the center of the letters, the center of the A's, the R, and the P, I am going to go ahead and pop those up onto the fun foam as well, because I want those to be white. I just want the mixed media portion and all the little bits and pieces to show through that white piece. And then my photo is going to go in the upper right hand corner, and I'll do a little bit of embellishing around there, but I keep it somewhat simple because there's already going to be a lot going on. I mean, there's going to be a lot of white space because this white paper is going over it, but I really want the focus to be the photo and this large title that's really heavily embellished and decorated. So that's pretty much why I don't do a ton of embellishing around my photo. I love those tweezers just to go ahead and place everything. Otherwise, my fat fingers get in the way and then I can't see where I'm placing things and they don't get put into the proper place. So I really love that. And then I also love the Tim Holtz scissors, and I hosted a local crop last month, and I actually learned something new. Apparently I was not paying attention when I did watch Tim Holtz talking about these scissors, but there's one blade that's serrated on it and the other is not. And if you're getting little tiny bumps when you're cutting, doing your fussy cutting, and you're getting little tiny bumps around the edges of your paper, turn your scissors over. I had no idea that that was a thing, and I really appreciate that Iris Fox who made that clear for me. So it's amazing. So here I've got all of this foam onto my layout, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that white down. Now this layout is a little bit thicker than most of my layouts just because it does have that layer of foam. It's a lot stiffer, but I really don't mind it. It totally is worth it for this effect. I love how it came out. And then I'm using some paper there that you see on the right hand side. I think that's from Coco Daisy, and I think I got that from Simone, and she's on Instagram and YouTube, and she is local to me. Her and Iris both came to the local crop that I had hosted, and so that's been a lot of fun getting to know them a little bit. And there's several other ladies that attend as well, but it's been a lot of fun getting to meet them and use some items that they've had in their stash that I don't necessarily subscribe to or don't have in my stash. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm using a branding strip from the same piece of paper that I've backed the entire layout on, and I'm going to cut that up and just so it has the same colors. And I really like the word create. I know I wanted to use that on this layout. It was like that was one thing I had set aside that I absolutely wanted on the layout, and I really like the scripty letters of it. It's really pretty and soft, so I wanted to make sure that got on there. I have these little the little tabs that, I'm sorry, they're not tabs, they're like, maybe they are tabs, I don't know. They're like little flags that have the fishtail ends that you see there. I think those are also from Coco Daisy, and I think I got those at the same time as I got the background paper. So I really like the shape of them. Now I just used my sand eraser to remove a little bit of ink that I've got on the top of the white paper, and that works really well if the ink is just on the surface level of the paper and not really soaked in deeply. So I would recommend using one of those if you tend to get ink on your papers. It works pretty well. So this photo is a group photo. We take a group photo every year while we're at this event because oftentimes we don't have the entire same group. Basically some people, might not be able to make it because they're working or they maybe couldn't afford it or they've got other family commitments. So every year we make sure to get a group photo, and I'm horrible about going around and taking photos throughout the event. I do have some photos taken from the balcony overlooking the cropping area so that you can see what looks like a huge mess, but it's, everybody's stuff and stuff that they're working with. But it doesn't always have all of the people in it. So I want to make sure that I get this documented. Last year, my mom was not able to go because she had to stay home. My dad was ill, and This is something that we do every year together. It's kind of like our mom and daughter retreat thing, and it's a lot of fun. We have so much fun together. And so this particular photo is this year, so it was, you know, her first year back from being gone the prior year, and so I wanted to make sure I got this documented. Now I'm going through and I'm going to put some sequins into each of the letters just to give it a little bit of interest. And these sequins are from Prima. They're just iridescent, kind of like a clear iridescent, so they add sparkle, but they don't add color, so I can use them in every letter. And I've also put 3 on each side of the photograph around each of the embellishment clusters. I'm going to do my journaling, and it's going to be rather simple. It just basically says it's that time again, the last weekend in January, where we spend 5 days scrapbooking and laughing together. I'm going to make a separate note in a separate area, maybe even on the back of all of the ladies' names, but there's 25 of us, and if I put that on the front, it's going to take a ton of room, and so I don't want to go ahead and put that on the front of my layout. I think I'll put it on the back, or I actually might even tuck it in behind the photo and make a little pocket behind there at some point. That's pretty much going to take us to the end of the layout. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love it for you to give me a thumbs up. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and watching my videos. I really appreciate all of the comments and your time that you spend with me. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe to my videos. And I usually put out a new video every Sunday, so be on the lookout for those. Stick around for the close-ups. They're coming up in just a moment. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.